Now the question remains of how Chattanooga will treat this tragedy in the future.
It is a question News Channel 9's John Madewell addresses. John joins us now live at the Lee Highway Memorial. John, what did you learn today?
Well, Calvin and Kim, I spoke with a clinical psychologist this afternoon, and if you haven't yet visited the two memorials, he advises doing that and also doing business with the stores out here that were directly impacted. And he says this is what you need to do to move on, but not forget. Psychologist Tim Sisemore recently finished writing this book about anxiety. We sat down with him and talked about how the community moves forward from this tragedy.
You have to move forward, and I think the key ways you do that are to not let it change you, not to live in fear. Go to see the memorials, which are very, very powerful experiences to see those things.
And Dee Dee Barnes has seen the thread of unity weave through the community firsthand. She owns the small business We've Got Spirit. They've been making Chattanooga Strong t-shirts 1 week ago today. All profits go to the families of those service members killed. To date, they've raised $10,000 for the families from the 1,700 to 1,800 shirts printed.
I don't think that it's going to go away anytime soon. I think it's really brought our community closer together. It's sad, but it has really brought us together.
The psychologist agrees. The grieving at the memorials, watching the funeral processions, and the burials have helped the greater community. But
you can't keep this level of intensity up. I mean, even imagining a marriage, there's a honeymoon period and then it kind of gets to real life. But I think as long as we remember this and still care for one another as a community and still respect one another and keep a little of that in our memory.
And don't let the tragedy consume your thoughts and behavior.
Don't change your habits. I think one of the ways fear can persist is by starting to change your life because of this. And I think that gives the bad guys a victory in a way. Now, Dr. Sisemore adds that there is a way to make the fabric of the community even tighter. He says that it starts with more respect for one another, military or otherwise. He says that sense of going through adversity together is the idea behind Chattanooga Strong. Reporting live from the Lee Highway Memorial, I'm John Madewell for News Channel 9. Now back to you guys.
Without question, the last 2 weeks have agonized our community, but also brought us closer together.
And that's where News Channel 9's John Madewell picks up the story. He joins us now live from the Lee Highway Memorial, where the first shots rang out. John, what happens there next?
Well, Latricia, I spoke with a psychologist who agrees we must move on, but not forget. More on that later. But first, we caught up with a business that has been overwhelmed with people who want to stand united. We've Got Spirit is a small business on Highway 58 that has been flooded with orders. They're printing the Chattanooga Strong t-shirts with all profits going to the families of the killed servicemen. They've already raised more than $10,000. They started making these shirts 1 week ago today. Already they've screened between 1,700 to 1,800 shirts. Owner Dee Dee Barnes explains how the idea started.
On the back of the shirts, we have the Navy and the Marine seal. And this is, like I said, my daughter, Stephanie, her boyfriend, is a Marine, and he said he'd like to have that on theirs.
We've seen the shirts, the pictures of the fallen, and the heart-wrenching funeral services that followed. But where will this tragedy be in the weeks, months, and years to follow? Dee Dee, for one, believes it will stand as a thread of unity, one that won't be forgotten.
I think this is something that will hold close to our hearts forever, and I just think it's going to make us a stronger city and unite us.
Now, We've Got Spirit certainly isn't the only one that is looking to honor the fallen. Exactly right here at the Lee Highway Memorial, a permanent structure is going up to honor the 5 fallen servicemen. Now, the property manager says everything for the permanent memorial was donated and more will be added in the coming days.